Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Elm Creek Farms. Episode number 3, I believe, is what we're looking at here. And well, we're gonna pick up some weed killer, herbicide, and take it back to the main farm. Now, I have made one trip already, and this is my second trip because in my maybe lack of infinite wisdom, I sort of picked this little trailer because I'm not really ready for anything else, and the game doesn't, by default, anyways, at least right now until more mods are available. The game doesn't really provide a whole lot of different choices with regards to trailers unless you want to move up to the um, low loader category, unless I just missed something. But I went through, the various types of trailers and really just was kind of hoping that maybe 4 would fit on this trailer. But then I realized how large the herbicide containers are, and it's like, nope, that's not going to work. So hopefully this will work similar to the way it did the first time that I did this off camera. We will see. That's staying up there quite nicely, and then we'll grab the second one. So far, um, pallet handling is is pretty good. Of course, this is the fourth thing that I have moved with a pallet, so I will reserve the opportunity to complain about it later if I later realize that it's still pretty much a dog. Um, but things have come off the pallets pretty easily um, once I get them loaded, and we'll push that up there like that, and then we'll see if we can just back right off of it like that. And so far so good. So I haven't done anything else, haven't bell handled, certainly haven't messed with logs or anything like that. So we're just going to leave this forklift right over here. Most likely this will just be a purchase that will of ours, because that's kind of the only way that you can get something like this into the game, is just to purchase it and just assume the costs of it, maintenance costs and everything. So yeah, so that's our herbicide loaded up. So we'll climb in here and we'll fold the trailer back up, and it'll tilt back down, and let's head back to the main farm. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Hope all of my American friends had a wonderful Thanksgiving. It is, in the real world, it is early on the morning of Friday, Black Friday. No, we are not headed out to hit the malls or any of the other stores. We will probably do a little Christmas shopping this weekend. Obviously, Monday is what they call Cyber Monday, and so there'll be probably some good buys on Amazon and things like that. But no, I ordered something for my wife last night that she wanted for Christmas, just off of another website, and probably have a few things coming from Amazon, and then I think there might be one or two things I will pick up locally. You know, we did so much shopping on Amazon during at least during 2020, just to avoid going to stores and stuff like that due to the pandemic. But I'm really trying to, something, we need to strap these down. Okay, those aren't going anywhere. Um, but now I'm trying to, spend as much money locally as possible. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, and that's probably another conversation for another video. But anyway, we are making progress here on Elm Creek, and still loving this. I am absolutely loving Farming Simulator 22. There are so many people reporting bugs and so many horror stories with their gameplay, and I have no idea what they're doing to uh, to get themselves into those situations. Something that popped up, and I'll kind of get in character here in just a moment, because I do have a few things to tell you about. But one of the things that I didn't realize, and I should have looked when we were in town, but evidently some players, and again, I haven't seen this on um, on my game, but some players are seeing advertisements and these change popping up on billboards. Now, I think this one here has always just said enjoy nature, but I'm not sure if it's something that Giants has implemented in some way of revenue for themselves. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that. Um, I do like to see authentic real world stuff in the game. Like, for example, with ATS and ETS2, you can get mods that will change the billboards and stuff to be real world names or change the company names to be real world names. I like that. I like that for the immersion. I'm not sure, how I would feel about Giants pumping advertisement through the game in some way. I personally don't really care about my internet bandwidth. I've got more bandwidth than I know what to do with. But just more along the lines of just just the whole idea of them receiving revenue um, from us playing the game. I don't know if they're just trialing this to see what sort of response they would get from people, or if maybe there's going to be something where we can opt in or opt out. Don't know. But anyway, just thought I would mention that I've seen some discussions about that on the Steam discussion groups. Anyway, kind of into the role play here now. In yesterday's video, or the last time that we were together, episode number 2, I wondered whether or not we could take the stones, the rocks that we get off the fields in these rock pickers, and pick them up with a wheel loader and put them into a tipper. And of course, I know what the answer to this is, but we're just going to just demonstrate this for you. And by the way, every time I jump into a vehicle and it says please start engine first, it's because I'm still playing about with my sensitivities on my control I is what I'm looking for. My sensitivities on my wheel. Um, the null zone was, by default, kind of quirky in a way where you kind of had to turn the wheel almost halfway around before the tractor or whatever you're driving, the truck or whatever, reacts to it. And so I've been playing around trying to get that dead zone just right. But if my wheel is not centered, so I'll set it askew and I'll go climb in the wheel loader here, and it's going to tell me immediately. I'm not even pressing the gas pedal. So just come up to it, take my foot off the gas pedal, and it's already telling me to check start my engine first. But if I center my wheel, that message goes away. So still working on it. But anyway, like I said, I know the answer to this. And yesterday we were picking rocks and we staged them in the test because my dad didn't know either. But we staged them in the test. Now this worked yesterday, and if this doesn't work today and it makes a fool out of me, then there we go. So the answer to the question is yes, we can do this. We can dump our rocks from the field, and of course we would do this stage probably closer to the field itself, and then obviously be able to load them up with a wheel loader. I'm assuming any other mechanism, telehandler, bucket on a tractor, etc., would also allow you to do this. And then we can just move over to this tipper, and we can tip, hopefully, yep, without spilling it on the ground, tip it into our tipper, and there we go. So what I haven't tested, and I don't know if I will, just because I don't use the default conveyor belts. I do use one that Stevie mods, and I will probably wait for him to mod that one. But I would think that once he gets around to being able to do that, and we have our hands on it, that we could probably set that conveyor field side somewhere, dump the stones from the rock picker at the foot of the conveyor, and have them load into a trailer. But I think that's the most economical way of doing this whole rock picking endeavor, because driving, a few thousand, couple of thousand liters of rocks or stones from here especially, because if we pull up our map, so we're up here in the north, kind of the northwest corner of the map. The rock buying station is somewhere down here, I believe, is where we take to sell our, yeah, debris crusher is down here. So that's a pretty long haul to essentially move 2,000 liters or something, whatever it was, I can't remember now, of stones from here to there. So we don't want to do that. We'd rather just accumulate a whole bunch of them and then just go and sell in mass. Okay, so we are going to finish loading up the herbicide from our second trip to the store. And we're going to go and spray one of the fields that has yet to uh, come ready to harvest, and we'll see if we can do that. I'm still trying to come to terms with a lot of the changes and everything with Farming Simulator 22. I know with Farming Simulator 19, as long as the field was still in the growth stages, we could spray for weeds and kill those weeds, and then still obviously get the benefit of the maximum value um, of said field. So I need to see which field it is. I have forgotten now. So wheat is 50% and we're still growing with soybeans. So it's this one here. That's what I thought. So we'll go ahead and extend our arms on this guy. Still haven't decided what we're going to do regarding these potatoes over here, whether we're going to harvest them or whether we're going to just turn them over, turn them under, and use them for fertilizer. I was talking to my dad yesterday and essentially asking him his opinion, and he's like, "Well, son, um, it's they're planted, and might as well go ahead and harvest them." But my argument to that, and I think it's valid, is that well, but what is it going to cost us? Is the return on the investment going to be good enough? Because we're either going to have to buy, or obviously in this case, I think we would lease the equipment to be able to harvest the potatoes. So we're going to have those costs. We're going to have either labor costs if we hire someone to do it, and I was kind of thinking, hire a contractor to come out and do it, or or do it ourselves. And even doing it ourselves, you still got to factor in those costs, because I can be doing other things on the farm when I'm setting in a potato harvester or sitting in a tractor pulling a potato harvester. And most likely we would lease, we can lease from the dealer one of those large potato harvesters that will do it in pretty quick fashion. I mean, quick fashion for harvesting potatoes. Obviously, it doesn't go quite as quick as some others. Let's just check this field here and see what the weed content is. Weeds are 0%, so we don't need to do anything here. It's also not fertilized, so let's tell you what. Let's go ahead and take this back to the farm. Gosh, we only used 10% of of the herbicide, but that's okay. We'll have it and have it available for future projects. But I'm really leaning towards just turning these potatoes under and starting afresh. Either with a winter crop that we would plant, or with or just waiting until the spring to do it. So let's see, what do I want to do? These are going to be in the way a million times, I know, but we'll just go ahead and unload here and dump those out just like that. Now, the cool thing, and I really wished that we could get a container for herbicide like we have for liquid fertilizer, because this guy is pretty cool. We've seen some mods like this in the past, but we can fill if we want to. So we'll fill a little bit, and I'll stop it and then we can overload right back into our container and doesn't set those pallets everywhere and gets in the way and all that stuff. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and fill up our liquid fertilizer, and that way we can go and fertilize a couple of those fields that need to be fertilized, at least try to get the maximum value of the crops that are there. These were obviously crops that were planted at the start of the game, because now with Farm Sim 22 and the built-in seasons functionality that it has, we start in August, which is kind of cool. I know a lot of people have kind of lost their minds about that particular change, because in the past, if you started a new Let's Play on a map or started a new gameplay on a map and implemented the seasons mod, you started in however many days you were playing, you started in the first day of spring, so you could plan out your crops and figure out everything that you're going to do, and then plant, fertilize, plow, cultivate, whatever you needed to do, and then your crops would come ready to harvest, and you would harvest them. Well, um, in some respects, I've kind of struggled, not really struggled, but have found that that's has been, in some ways, that has been kind of boring, because obviously there's at least one, depending on how many game days you're playing per season, there might be at least one game day, or even two or three, again, if you're playing like 9 game days per season, where you really can't do anything other than some field work such as plow, cultivate, things of that nature. You couldn't really plant because it's still a little bit too cool to do that. The ground temperature would be a little bit too cool in order to do that. And so you'd kind of just burn that away. Of course, if you're setting up your farm, bringing in a lot of equipment and stuff, you kind of, are doing, at least I do that stuff kind of off camera, and that chews up a little bit of time. But still, if you're playing 9 game days per season, as an example, there's going to be a lot of time where you are not having anything to do. And so this way, you're coming into August. Of course, you don't really have any choice on what crops you're going to have in your fields. And like the potatoes, I would have never planted potatoes myself here on this new map, because it wasn't really something that I was interested in. I've harvested a lot of potatoes in previous versions of Farming Simulator, and I'm not saying that I'm never going to do that in 22. I'm just saying I wouldn't have started with that, because it really doesn't fit what we're kind of doing here with the storyline and stuff like that. But hey ho, hey, we unlocked a Steam achievement: plant, get enough. I'll try not to knock that sign down. So we'll come in here, and that sign's not in the best place. Oh, well, we did it anyway. Look at that. Well, the county will come around here at some point and fix that for us. Can't really tell where I've been, but we'll just kind of go in here like this. Yeah, if you've watched my channel long enough, you know that I sometimes will knock signs down. Sometimes I'm not paying attention close enough, and it just happens. I try to play, obviously, I try to play as realistic as possible, and I will say this about the game, and I know I haven't done a whole lot of storyline here um, in this episode, but I have noticed that cab view is pretty darn good. Um, Now, I'm going to just say that, you know, I can't really see where my booms are, and I'm trying to just visually make sure I'm driving in a straight line. But I think once we get some GPS functionality going, then I may try to do a little more in-cab farming, just for realistic perspective. But we'll see when that happens. And I think this will be the last pass. Obviously, we've got 2 fields that are ready to harvest. We've got a oat field, which I believe is to our left, and then we've got a canola field that is ready to go, or maybe it's vice versa. But anyway, those were already ready to harvest and infested with weeds. So I'm not holding out any hope that we're going to get a lot of crop out of that, just because of the fact that the fields may need plowing, and they may also obviously need they've got weeds in them. So, and I don't know what the fertilizer state is. I'm guessing the fertilizer state is probably zero on those fields. But we will most likely get to a point, maybe the next video, maybe episode number 4, where we'll harvest these 2 fields that are ready to go, and then we'll make a decision on these potatoes. And then we have a couple of other, I believe we've got, well, obviously we've just fertilized soybeans, and I believe there is something else, sorghum, I believe, that we will have available to harvest at some point before winter time comes along. And we'll just ease up here to our liquid fertilizer station, and we will overload back into it, because that way I can clean up these herbicide pallets. And we'll just say that we are also now, one of the things, just for sake of everyone kind of understanding what's going on, you can set these greenhouses. Well, you can set all of your production facilities to auto sell if you want to, which I think is kind of cool. So if we go in and let that save and come into our production chains, if we see we've got 3 greenhouses of tomatoes, and I've got these set for selling, so they will basically just sell right off the bat. Now, one of the things that we are going to do is we have a stake. Our family has a stake in the grain mill and the bakery in town, and we're going to be taking our wheat um, to the grain mill to have it processed into flour, and that is going to actually I need to change this, because here what we want to do is we want to have that distributed. That will automatically distribute it to the bakery, and the bakery will either decide whether we're going to store it, or we may just go ahead and distribute it directly from the bakery as well. That way we don't have to mess about with going over there and moving pallets and stuff around. But we'll see. I think maybe the AI is supposed to be able to auto load that stuff. I don't know. I could be wrong. But one of the things that we did yesterday also was we finished our mowing projects for the year, at least related to silage. So we were able to bring in about 100, I think this is about 150,000 liters, give or take, of silage of grass that has now been compacted, and it has been blanketed, and we've got 4% of silage. So we'll have more of that later, and we'll get that uncovered, because we need silage, we need straw, and I think we'll get straw off the oats, and obviously we'll get some more straw next year off of our wheat crops, and then obviously we need hay, and we also Dad and I, he felt like helping out yesterday, and we also cut grass for hay, and we've got hay stored down here in our old barn. 24 minutes. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in for another episode. If you're watching my channel and you're not a subscriber, if you like my content is always family friendly. I don't use abusive language, curse words, or anything like that. And I do try to provide tips and pointers. And of course, I've got my 5-minute mod reviews and stuff that I'm doing this time around as well. But I also like to intermix my role play just a little bit with other things, like we did today, showing you that yes, you can pick up stones with like a wheel loader bucket and put them in a trailer. And I know that for those of you who may not have got this far within your endeavors within Farm Sim 22, or maybe you're just still on the fence and haven't purchased it, and you might just be storing tidbits of information that you're getting from some of us content creators. You know, I do share that information. So we'll also be looking to share more knowledge about mods that are coming out. I think I've put out 2 or 3 5-minute mod reviews. One was on the Silo by Stevie. This little guy is pretty cool because we can put, it's the only way that you can get lime direct to your farm. And this is the silo from Stevie, and it will do dry or solid fertilizer, and it will do lime. You don't fill it, you just pay for it as you pay at the pump, if you will, pay as it's distributed. These are obviously giants. These are in the game. These are default. This guy will hold seeds, or it will hold minerals for the cows. We're going to have one of these installed on the other side of the cow barn there at some stage in the future. And then, of course, this big guy here is liquid fertilizer, and you can fill it. You can come over here to the menu. You can squeeze around. Come over here. We can hit our R key, and we've taken 2,718 liters out of it. If we want to top this up for $3,588, we could buy that. We won't do that right now. We will just leave it as is. So again, thank you for watching. But if you are watching this video, please like and subscribe. It really motivates me, and I'm sure that you will find future videos of interest when I make them. Again, thanks for joining me here on Elm Creek Farms, and take good care of yourself. God bless you all, and I'll see you back here very, very soon. Bye for now.